So for a lot of people, when they have pain that's constant, and you've been ruled out of all the nasties, like there's nothing really sinister going on, and you've been referred back to your physical therapist, or maybe your chiropractor, or just a personal trainer, anyone that you're working with through your rehab or exercise, and that pain's still present but quite constant, even at like a dull level, you might find that there's a muscle that is on stretch that whole time, or you might find that that muscle is just constantly in short position and being asked to work quite hard and use a lot of energy. So that can be revealed a lot through some gait movements or walking, being that I have to get into a particular shape. When I bring all my weight onto my right leg, a whole bunch of muscles have to shorten and a whole bunch of muscles have to lengthen. The opposite becomes true if I shift my weight onto the other side. Those muscles that were previously short are now the long ones, and the ones that were previously long are now the short ones. So this becomes a nice way to just get an idea of what that's looking like for you. And the way we can start is through some foot pressures. So if I'm standing there, I want to see some sort of awareness of where my feet are, where the pressures are, and do I have more weight going into my heels? Do I have more weight going into my forefoot? Do I have more weight on one foot? Or maybe I'm just in one heel. A lot of the time when we see people that have like disc injuries in their back, it's because they've got a lot of weight in one heel, and that pattern is a loss of lower back control. And when you walk, you actually hear a harder contact on the ground. So I'll be walking and I can hear that right heel hitting the ground more than I can hear the left heel. You'll hear it a lot, maybe, as someone's walking down a hallway and you hear like this sort of, asymmetry of sound, just a tap and then quiet and then tap and then quiet. So bringing awareness to where your feet are and how you're putting the pressure through your body, your mass of the pelvis and your rib cage and your muscles and all these bones in your head. Maybe you're, from previous injuries, just offloading. So you could say have an old ankle sprain, say I have my right foot, and for a lot of people they'll walk on the outside of their foot. Now you can't maintain this to be stable and powerful, so you're going to create little strategies around it. Maybe my foot stays like this, which keeps me in this sort of inverted position, but I got to touch the ground, so my big toe comes down, and all of a sudden this triangle or base of support that your foot has becomes a little bit smaller. That triangle being kind of your big toe knuckle, your little toe knuckle, and your heel. And that can become more narrow. Maybe you go into like your second toe knuckle and your fourth toe knuckle, and all of a sudden you've got a very narrow triangle instead of a nice wide base. So as this progresses, you're looking for more now the one foot stuff. If I stand on one leg, is my pressure through just the front of my foot? Maybe some excessive calf tightness that you get, or like a plantar fasciitis, or maybe it's in the heel of my foot. So typically with a heel, we're going to see a loss of lower back control, and typically with a forefoot, all the way in the front of the foot, you're going to see like a bit of a loss of like maybe glute or kind of tummy control. And the way we rehab them is a little bit different. But just starting with checking your pressures and starting here and just seeing, okay, can feel a little bit this way, a little bit this way. And then you can maybe sway around a little bit. I'm shifting my mass now more to the right, more onto the right foot. Is that comfortable? Can I do that without losing my balance? Can I shift to the left and maintain my balance? Maybe you feel like a block. Maybe you can't get over there as easily, or maybe you twist or do some funny things. And you can start to reveal, well, actually, maybe I spend more time walking or spending time with exercises like a squat on my right foot instead of spreading that load out. So I start off with this and just see, where does my pressure lie? And then if I go onto one foot, where does it lie? Can I keep my balance here, or is it more in the forefoot? And I feel like I'm gonna fall forward. You've only got the balance pretty much of the length of that foot and the width of that foot. Or is it in the heel and you feel like you're going to fall backwards? And just see how you respond to those.